We only discovered after the war, of course, was code cracking. We had absolute intelligence of where they were. And we were just all ready for them. And they burst out of the mist. I mean, if we hadn't got it absolutely ready, you'd never have got them. We had the torpedoes ready, stand by. And she came out of mist, bang. We were wrongly ballasted. We were given the wrong weight for our warhead and broke surface, which we never did, on firing. So he must have seen us, couldn't have failed to see us. And he must have altered course towards to comb the tracks of torpedoes, and B, to kill us. But one got him, bang, bang.
I-166 did a lot of thinking of commercial ships, Panamanian ships and American ships and English ships. And also they had some spy mission too. They wanted to organize the anti-British campaign by the Indian nationalists. And looked like I-166 carried several Indian spies into India and the Ceylons. And when the I-166 was called to go to Singapore, that was for the participating in the training purpose. The Japanese Navy fleet had so many damage, mostly caused by the American submarines. So Japanese commander of the fleet wanted to have a training so that their boat won't be damaged so much. And I-166 was speeding to reach Singapore as quick as possible. But the Commander King's Telemachus was hiding on the bottom of the ocean, and probably just like Commander King said, he had some intelligence information that the Japanese submarine speeding to Singapore. So the I-166 left Penang, which was a Japanese naval base, on July 16, 1944. And the next day, in the morning, it was torpedoed by the Telemachus.
No, I wasn't coming up. There were other, the aircraft, other thing. No question. So no, we lurked underwater and bumped back along the bottom towards 1 Fathom Bank Channel. And to be quite honest, I was reaching the end of my tether by then, and we came up to periscope depth at the Narrows. On the other side of the Narrows, there were 2 Japanese anti-submarine vessels, either side, just where we were going. And I thought, well, this is it. This is where we find out what happens next. As I looked at them, they decided to go home. That minute, that second, off they went. And we went bang through. And lived to fight another day. You never panicked in a submarine. You never panic. Never panic. You've got to keep calm. Panic is death. When I came back, I was a physical wreck. An absolute physical wreck. I was 30, and I looked 50. And people said respectfully, were you in the First World War, sir? Saluting.
Did you worry when I came to see you? Or
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought you might be vengeful.
Okay.
And then I saw a photograph and saw you were a nice chap. I can always tell just by looking.
Okay.
Our submarines lost 4 out of 5. Of my friends, 4 out of 5 were lost. What should I write?
I see.
I wrote a little poem in memory of the things. Their tombstone stretches in a mighty arc from Norway's deep through Afric's shoreline to the eastern march, and on the bed of Malta's sand their bones are rocked by feeble tides. They wear the flower of our land. I should be made the poet laureate or something, you know.
Okay. Is there any lessons we can learn from the war?
The only lesson that I think is to be learned about it is how horrific it is and how it is to be avoided at all possible costs. You see, both those wars were started by madmen. The Kaiser was dotted from inbreeding, royal family inbreeding. Hitler had a certifiable disease, used to chew the carpet. So they were both started by crazies. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
And the K-16 was torpedoed, as far as we know now, on Christmas morning, 1941.
Yeah.
And she was up on the water, and we still actually don't know precisely why that was. And we were hoping that relatives of I-66 could tell us about it, but also you are the enemy
Yeah, yeah.
at that moment, and it's so strange. And afterwards, I mean, after so many years, I think it's good to be able to talk about that.
The history of a human being is the history of war or history of a killing. So I said, why do we have to keep killing, you know? Then I thought of the 36 people my father killed. Then I shared my feeling with my wife. And my wife said, why don't we visit the memorial, you know? So I said, yeah, I think that's a wonderful idea.
One day we got a phone call from the Navy in Den Helder, and they said there's a Japanese family and they're here in Den Helder and they're bringing flowers to the monument to honor your father's boat. So I said, I want to meet these people, and my son tried to find out your father's email address and through Google, and then found him. So I wrote him an email and said, please come, I want to meet you.
I opened up my email, and there was an email from Katja waiting. And same way, just like a commander was a little concerned. I had the concern, gee, my father killed, this lady's father. Is it proper for me to go or not, you know?
It's quite suddenly that you are confronted with the...
Right. But I saw her email address and the phone number, mobile phone number, fax number, the mailing address. I felt her eagerness, you know. So I said, okay, well, let's call. And I called. And next day she invited us to her home. And so that's the beginning, yes.
Right from the moment that I saw them at the station, it felt very good.
Oh, so you weren't worried or?
Of course not.
Yeah.
No, of course not.
Yeah, when I saw Katja at the railway station, she was waiting for us. I felt something.
Can you explain that?
It's very difficult, but here's a lady who has been missing her father 60-some years, you know. because I have been missing my father almost 60 years. And it's a camaraderie or a companionship, you know. I could identify with her feeling and the emotions instantly. No word was needed. Then we arrived at her house, and she invited us into the home. And her husband Ben was so courteous, and instantly we felt welcome.
And then they came into our house and they saw my parents' pictures on the piano, and they said, "Are those your parents?" He said, "Yes." And they started praying, your parents.
And there was a picture of Katya's father. And his wife's picture, and Katya's picture, baby, small picture. I don't know, but some emotion came to me. We just prayed, you know.
But you prayed together.
Yeah.
That's special. But you prayed together with Katya as, you prayed for both your fathers.
It was a very touching moment. They had photographs and they had their stories and everything, and it just felt as if we had been friends for years. Yeah. It was very strange, but very beautiful too. I'm so glad they came.
How did you find out about Commander Keen?
Well, your father, when he was at our place, he said, "There's someone I want to meet, and that's the command. Actually, he said, I want to meet relatives of the Telemachus, of the people of that crew." And he never dared to dream that Commander King would be alive. Yeah. And so that is really the magic of it all, that Commander King, out of so many people who died, some so young, some older, but that he's still there, and that he can share all the stories and all the memories and all the the feelings. And I think it's a very historical moment. The former three enemies and being together again. Yes. What did you think first when your father got a letter from Aki saying that he wanted to visit you?
Well, am I allowed to tell the truth? What?
Yeah.
She said, no, he's going to kill me. He's going to arrive with a samurai sword and kill me. And probably you too. So I was like, but then he said, well, maybe I'll meet them somewhere else. I don't mind dying. I'm so old. That is the truth.
Yes. I suspected, because I put myself in the position of a commander. That's a story of 60 years ago. And one young man whose father was killed by the battle is come to see me for what?
But he thought revenge.
Yeah.
After 60 years. Yeah.
So I asked the question to the commander last time. Did you read the Japanese Bushido book? The way of a samurai is always revenge. If someone in your family are killed, revenge, So he said that he studied all the Quran, the Islam books and others. So I suspected, and he wrote a book, Kamikaze. So I thought he studied some psychology, mentality of Japanese warriors, So it's a natural that they think of a revenge. So I suspected it. So I asked Kay, let's go to the backyard and let's take a picture of us. Big smile, and we let the Andre take a picture. That worked.
I think about my grandfather, and I think about your grandfather, and also yours. I wonder what they think, the ones who died. What they think. Could they have ever imagined that they would think their children and then their grandchildren would have met?
Yeah, it's right.
If you're in a war, let's say you go in a war and you think, oh, my grandchildren will one day, all party together or something like that. I don't know. I wonder if they had known, or if they know, if heaven or wherever, if they would know what they would think about that, you know.
For you, difficult to be the daughter of a war hero, a man who had been deeply troubled by the war.
I resented and hated the war from the age of about 3, because instead of family dinners being jokes and fun and involved about children, it was both of them talking about the war and war strategies and what if. And I remember the fall of Singapore being one of the main subjects of conversation when I was a child, and children do not. It was no fun. It was very heavy, and they were very tense, both of them. My father more so than my mother. So they weren't lovely, relaxed, easygoing parents, you know, baking cakes and being fun. It was like tension.
Right.
And as a child, I resented it deeply.
What I think about, which is very special about this meeting, it's very comforting that we're all sort of in a same situation and everybody just feels sort of bonded.
There's a lot of friendship.
It's a very natural way of bonding, even though our grandparents were actually in a war and they're fighting against each other.
All fighting each other.
And now everybody's one big happy family.
It's very positive. It is. It's a sort of circle.
That is.
How do you feel about the meeting of all 3 families in this castle today?
I'm absolutely delighted. I'm delighted to meet them. I've enjoyed every moment.
We went to buy a nice tree this morning.
Yes.
And it's already there.
Ah.
And we'd like to plant in your honor.
Yes.
And for the eternal friendship among our 3rd generation and the future children too.
That'd be lovely.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Commander, I'd like to thank you and your family so much for letting us plant this tree in your garden.
Pleasure is ours.
And I hope that she will grow and blossom and bear fruit for a long, long, long time, and that you will live forever. And we will always be friends for so long, because it's wonderful that the Irish, the English, the Japanese and the Dutch people can all be together here with our children and our grandchildren. Thank you so much for making us feel so welcome.
I'm very moved.
So are we. So thank you so much. May I kiss you?
This will be his inmates.
Oh, no, well,
Girl,
You're going to make a jam out of apple.
Sam, my son is close to the Lord.
Next year is the 60th anniversary of the ending of World War II. Fortunately, we didn't have a World War III that passed the 60 years. Let's keep it that way. No impact.